It wasn't just the death of people that caused grief and sorrow and tears in 2018. There were also a lot of other challenges and tragedies that our world and our nation faced. There were hurricanes that impacted many areas of our country last year and caused devastation and death. Or we think of the wildfires that occurred last summer here in our state and not too far from Colorado Springs, or maybe we think even more of the devastating wildfires in California, and thousands of homes destroyed and dozens of lives lost. There were also certainly disasters that were not natural that occurred in our world and in our nation, human-caused tragedies, murders, drunk drivers getting into accidents, so many things that pose challenges and heartache to so many in our world and our nation in 2018. Some people look at these tragedies and challenges and see in them a reason to question God, to question His power. Maybe He couldn't do anything about it. Or to question His love. Maybe He didn't care. Or some even to question the very existence of God when they see all these tragedies and heartaches. But we look at them in a different light, don't we? As God's people, when we see natural disasters, we are reminded of what our Lord warned us of. And He said, as we get closer to the end of the world, we'll see more of them. And we're reminded that His word is true. When we see the problems and the heartache that people cause to other people, we're reminded that this is indeed a sinful world, not the world that our God created nor intended, but what we're left with because of sin. But more than that, when we see the tragedies and the challenges that happened in 2018, and you and I know will happen again in 2019, we look to God. We look to God and know that He always works good, even in those tragedies and even in those challenges. That while sinful man has ruined the perfection of God's once perfect creation, our perfect Creator makes all things right. Sometimes we'll see the good that those challenges bring. Sometimes we see it immediately. Sometimes maybe with the passage of time we look back and see His blessings. And still other cases we may have to wait until we get to heaven and see things from a different eternal perspective. But you know it's always there. Trust God. He worked good in the challenges and tragedies of 2018. He'll do the same in 2019. Listen to how St. Paul describes that in Romans chapter 8. And we know that in all things, God works for the good of those who love Him, who have been called according to His purpose. This is the word of our Lord.